My brother got 2 rooms, I got the garage. Years later, when a hurricane left my parents homeless, I reminded them the garage was still available. Something always felt off in my childhood home, though I couldn't quite pinpoint why. It was like a puzzle piece that didn't fit, too subtle to notice unless you stared long enough. Growing up, I sensed an unspoken tension, a quiet divide that lingered in the background. Looking back, I see it clearly now. There was a rift between my brother and me, one I couldn't name as a kid. We were supposed to be a family, but it felt like 2 sets of rules governed our house. I was 12 when the unfairness first hit me. My brother, Caleb, was 9. We just moved into a bigger house, and my parents decided I'd stay in the garage. They framed it as a perk, saying I was older and needed my own space, that the garage was practically as good as any room close to the main house. I bought it at first. Older kids get different setups, right? But the truth was I wasn't getting more space. I was getting less. Far less. Caleb, meanwhile, had 2 rooms, one for sleeping, another for his hobbies. I was stuck in the garage, told it was fine, that I could make it my own. I didn't question it much at first. As the older sibling, I figured I had to deal with it. But small things started gnawing at me. One day, I mustered the courage to ask my mom, Sarah, if I could move into one of the spare rooms inside. I was tired of the garage's constant drafts and the feeling of being cut off from the family. I approached her in the kitchen, where she was prepping dinner. "Mom, maybe I could move into one of the rooms inside, something less garage-like," I said, keeping my tone light. Her expression shifted instantly, like I'd crossed a line. "Nate," she said, drying her hands on a towel, "we've been over this. Caleb needs the space for his projects. You know how important his music is." I stood there, stunned. Music. Caleb tinkered with a guitar sometimes, but it wasn't some grand passion. Meanwhile, I wasn't even allowed to keep my books in the garage without them getting damp. "You're fine, Nate," she added, not meeting my eyes. "The garage is like your own hideout." It didn't feel like a hideout. It felt like I was an outsider. I didn't push back then. What could a 12-year-old say? Over time, the unfairness sank in deeper. I'd pass Caleb's rooms, his 2 rooms, and feel a knot in my chest. It wasn't just envy, it was confusion. Why did he need so much? One night it hit me hard. Caleb had friends over, their laughter echoing through the house while I tried to study in the garage. The cold, dim space felt suffocating, their joy a stark contrast to my isolation. I went inside for a drink and overheard my parents talking with Caleb at the dining table. "Caleb's music is really coming along," my dad, Mark, said, his voice full of pride. "We need to nurture that talent." I froze. Talent. I didn't even know Caleb was that serious about music. Why was it suddenly the center of everything? Without thinking, I spoke up. "Why does he need 2 rooms for music? I don't even have one." The room went silent. My mom's face softened, but not with understanding, with pity. "Nate, you know Caleb has unique needs," she said quietly, like I was too young to get it. "His needs are different." It felt like a slap. Unique needs. "I don't have unique needs," I asked, my voice trembling. Caleb glanced at me, puzzled, like he didn't get why I was upset. My parents never explained it to him. They never explained it to me either. I stormed back to the garage, slamming the door. The idea of family fairness felt like a cruel joke. I didn't know how to fix it, but I knew I wasn't going to let it go. Coming home from college after my first semester felt like stepping into a familiar cage. The garage still smelled of mildew and old wood, a constant reminder of my place in the family. It wasn't a homecoming. It was a return to being sidelined. Caleb was in the living room, engrossed in his guitar, not even noticing me walk in. Nothing had changed. The house still orbited around him, his talents, his needs. Mom was in the kitchen, as always, bustling with nervous energy. "Nate, how was school?" she asked, her voice overly cheerful. "Fine," I said, dropping my bag. "Same old." She didn't miss a beat. "Caleb's been working on some incredible music. He's really shining." Her words stung. I'd heard this script before, but it hit differently now. She was beaming with pride for him while I was just there. "I'm sure he's great," I said, my tone sharper than I meant. I tried to walk away, but she stepped in front of me. "You should hear his new songs. He's been invited to perform at a local event." I blinked, feeling trapped in the same old cycle. "Yeah, I get it. He's amazing." The frustration was boiling over, but I kept it together. "Maybe I'll check it out later." Her face fell, like she was hurt by my tone, but I couldn't tell if it was because I snapped or because I dared to point out the obvious. Over the next few days, I wrestled with how to make them see the years of imbalance. Caleb was the star, always praised, always prioritized. I was the reliable kid, the one who didn't need anything special. It wasn't just about the rooms, it was about being invisible. Caleb never had to fight for anything. It was handed to him, no questions asked. One moment burned it all into focus. I walked into the living room to find Caleb sprawled out with his guitar, Mom sitting nearby, smiling that soft, doting smile she never gave me. I don't even remember what she said, but I remember the suffocating feeling like I didn't belong in my own home. That was it. I packed my things, moved back to my city apartment, and cut contact. I was done playing the good kid, done pretending everything was fine. Months passed. I built my own life, work, friends, a sense of self outside their narrative. But Mom kept sending updates about Caleb's music, his gigs, his brilliance. Each message felt like a jab, a reminder of what I'd never been to them. Then came the text that changed everything. I was at a cafe when my phone pinged. "Nate, we need to talk. Caleb's struggling. Can you come home?" My stomach churned. Struggling? What did that even mean? I didn't reply right away. After months of silence, they needed me now. To fix what? I didn't know if I could do it, but against my better judgment, I went back. Life has a way of throwing you off balance. I was living my life in the city, keeping my distance when the hurricane hit. Category 4, relentless, it tore through my parents' town. I didn't need the text from Mom to know it was coming. When it arrived, it was desperate. "Nate, please, the house is wrecked. We need help. Caleb, we don't know what to do. Can you come?" I stared at the message, torn between ignoring it and doing the right thing. I wasn't heartless, so I packed a bag and went. The house was unrecognizable, flooded furniture scattered, debris everywhere. My parents were in the living room, frazzled but holding it together. Caleb sat in a corner, strumming his guitar, oblivious as ever. He didn't even look up when I walked in. Mom spoke first, her smile strained. "Nate, thank you for coming. This is a lot, but we need you." I nodded, waiting for more, but there was no warmth, no acknowledgement of the distance between us. "What do you need?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "We don't have enough space. The lower floors are ruined. Can we stay at your place until the house is fixed?" Mom asked, her tone cautious. I knew what she meant. They wanted my space. I paused, the weight of years pressing down. Part of me wanted to lash out, to list every slight, every time I was pushed aside for Caleb's 2 rooms while I got the garage. But I wasn't that person anymore. I'd built my own life. Still, I wasn't going to let this slide. I walked over to Caleb, still lost in his music. "So, you and Mom want to crash at my place?" I said, my voice sharp. He looked up, confused. "Yeah, just for a bit. We'll be out soon." His casual tone, like I was just a means to an end, reignited my anger. "Right," I said, turning to Mom. "Here's the deal. You can stay, but there are conditions. I'm not letting you waltz in like nothing's happened." Mom blinked, caught off guard. "Nate, this isn't the time." "No," I cut her off, gesturing to the wrecked house, to the years of resentment. "This is exactly the time. I've been the one in the garage while Caleb got everything. I've been invisible and I'm done with it." Caleb stood annoyed. "What's your issue? Mom's just asking for help and you're making it a thing." "You've always been the thing, Caleb," I said, locking eyes with him. "You just never noticed." Mom stepped forward, trying to mediate, but I wasn't backing down. "You want to stay? You're in the garage. That's your space now." Mom looked shocked. Caleb's face was a mix of confusion and frustration, but I didn't care. For the first time, I felt in control. "I'll help with the repairs," I added, "but this is the last time I put myself last." After a long silence, Mom nodded. "Okay," she said, resigned. "We'll make it work." As they settled into the garage, my old space, the irony wasn't lost on me. For the first time, I felt like I'd claimed something for myself. I wasn't just the good kid anymore. I'd won. If this story moved you, please give it a like, share it with others, and follow for more real-life stories and heartfelt experiences. Your support means everything, and it helps us share more stories like this. Thank you for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.